Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Listen with Stories. Take a slow breath in and breathe out. Today, we tell the story of a man who looked at the invisible world and rebuilt it. He was a quiet man from Denmark. He loved football and loved asking questions. He was wrong many times, but he kept thinking, and one day, he changed physics forever. He did not just discover something new. He changed the way humans understand reality itself. This is the story of Niels Bohr, the Dane who rebuilt the atom. If this is your first time here, welcome. This channel is called Listen with Stories. Every week, we tell the true story of a famous person, slowly, clearly, and with care. This is made for English learners at B1 and B2 level. So listen slowly, listen again, and let the story teach you. If you are learning English and you love stories like this, please subscribe. A new story comes every week. Press the bell so you never miss one. Now, let us begin. Niels Bohr was born on the 7th of October, 1885, in Copenhagen, Denmark. His father was a professor of physiology. His mother came from a wealthy Jewish family. His home was warm, educated, and full of conversation. Books were everywhere. Ideas were welcome. Questions were encouraged. Niels had a younger brother named Harald. They were very close. Harald was brilliant too. He became a famous mathematician and even played football for Denmark in the Olympic Games. Niels also loved football. He was a good goalkeeper, but his mind was always moving, always thinking. Even during a game, part of him was somewhere else, turning a problem over and over in his head. At school, Niels was not the fastest student. He was slow and careful. He thought deeply before he spoke. His teachers noticed this. They knew he was special, not because he was quick, but because he was thorough. He went to the University of Copenhagen. He studied physics, and he fell in love with it completely. In 1907, while still a student, he won a gold medal from the Royal Danish Academy of Sciences. His experiment on the vibration of water, done at his father's laboratory, was so careful, so detailed, that the judges were impressed. He was just 22 years old. Niels Bohr was ready for something bigger. After finishing his doctorate in 1911, Bohr traveled to England. He went to Cambridge to work with J. Thomson, the man who discovered the electron. But Cambridge was not the right place for Bohr. Thomson was busy. He did not give Bohr much attention. Bohr felt lonely. He felt like his ideas were not being heard. Then he heard about Ernest Rutherford. Rutherford was a New Zealander working in Manchester. He was loud, energetic, and brilliant. Just 1 year before, in 1910, Rutherford had done something extraordinary. He had fired tiny particles at a thin sheet of gold. Most particles passed straight through, but some bounced back. This was shocking. Rutherford said the atom must have a small, dense center, a nucleus, with electrons moving around it, like planets around the sun. It was a beautiful idea, but it had a serious problem. According to the physics of that time, the classical physics of Maxwell and Faraday, electrons moving in a circle should release energy. They should spiral inward. They should fall into the nucleus within a fraction of a second. But atoms do not collapse. They are stable. They last forever. So something was wrong. Bohr went to Manchester to work with Rutherford in 1912. The two men were very different. Rutherford was loud. Bohr was quiet. Rutherford spoke fast. Bohr spoke slowly. But they connected deeply. They both asked the same question. Why does the atom not collapse? Bohr went back to Copenhagen in 1912. He married his beloved Margrethe Nørlund. She was intelligent and calm, and she would become his most trusted reader and partner for the rest of his life. And then Bohr sat down and thought. He had an idea. A strange idea. An idea that broke the rules of classical physics completely. What if electrons do not move freely around the nucleus? What if they can only exist in certain fixed orbits? What if an electron can jump from one orbit to another, but cannot exist anywhere in between? This was radical. Nothing in physics supported it. No experiment had ever suggested it. It came from pure thought, from courage, and from necessity. In 1913, Bohr published 3 papers. They described a new model of the atom. Electrons moved in fixed circular orbits. Each orbit had a specific energy. When an electron jumped from a high orbit to a low orbit, it released energy as light. And the color of that light depended on the distance of the jump. This explains something that had puzzled scientists for decades: the hydrogen spectrum. When hydrogen gas was heated, it released specific colors of light, always the same colors, always in the same pattern. Bohr's model explained exactly why. The physics world was stunned. Bohr was 27 years old. After his model brought him international fame, Bohr returned to Copenhagen. He had a dream: to create a place where the best young physicists in the world could come and think together. In 1920, he founded the Institute for Theoretical Physics at the University of Copenhagen. Today, it is called the Niels Bohr Institute, and the greatest minds of the 20th century came to him. Werner Heisenberg came, Wolfgang Pauli came, Paul Dirac came, Erwin Schrödinger came, even Albert Einstein came, many times. The conversations in Copenhagen were extraordinary. Bohr did not lecture. He asked questions. He challenged. He pushed. He never accepted an answer unless he fully understood it. In 1922, Bohr received the Nobel Prize in Physics for his work on the structure of the atom. But Bohr was not finished. The next great mystery was waiting. The 1920s were extraordinary years in physics. Heisenberg developed the uncertainty principle. Schrödinger wrote his famous wave equation. Dirac united quantum mechanics with relativity. Bohr developed what became known as the Copenhagen interpretation. It said this: at the quantum level, particles do not have definite properties until they are measured. Reality is not fixed. It is a cloud of possibilities that collapses into one answer only when you look. Einstein hated this. Einstein believed the universe had a deep, fixed reality. God does not play dice, he said. The universe follows clear rules. Everything is determined. Bohr disagreed, gently, respectfully, but firmly. Their debate continued for years. At scientific conferences in Belgium, especially the Solvay conferences of 1927 and 1930, the two men would argue for hours. Einstein would arrive in the morning with a new thought experiment designed to destroy quantum mechanics. Bohr would think all day, and by evening he would find the answer. They loved and respected each other completely, but they never agreed. In 1940, Germany invaded Denmark. Bohr was half Jewish. Through his mother, he was in danger. He continued working in Copenhagen for as long as he could. He helped Jewish refugees escape. He refused to cooperate with the Nazis. In 1943, Bohr received secret news. He was going to be arrested. He escaped by boat to Sweden on a dark night. Then he was flown to England, hidden in the bomb bay of a small military aircraft. He nearly died from lack of oxygen during the flight. From England, Bohr traveled to America. He joined the Manhattan Project, the secret program to build the atomic bomb. He worked under the code name Nicholas Baker. Bohr helped with the physics, but he was deeply troubled. He understood what this weapon would mean. He visited President Roosevelt. He wrote to Churchill. He begged them, after the war, share the knowledge of nuclear energy with the world. Do not let it become a weapon of nations competing in secret. They did not listen. When the bomb fell on Hiroshima in 1945, Bohr was horrified. He had helped create the most destructive weapon in human history. For the rest of his life, he worked for peace. My friends, you have been listening for many minutes now, and I want to say something directly to you. Learning English is hard. It takes time. It takes patience. Some days you feel progress. Other days you feel nothing has changed. But think about Niels Bohr. He was slow. He was careful. He was often wrong, but he never stopped thinking. You are doing something brave. You are learning in a second language. You are growing every single day, even when you cannot see it. Keep listening. Keep trying. Keep going. And if this story helped you today, please leave a comment. Tell me one thing you learned, or just say hello. I read every message. Niels Bohr died on the 18th of November, 1962, in Copenhagen. He was 77 years old. He died in the city where he was born, the city he had built into the center of world physics. He left behind an institute, a generation of students, and a vision of reality that still challenges us today. He taught us that the universe is stranger than we think, that uncertainty is not weakness, that not knowing, truly sitting with a question, is the beginning of all real understanding. Thank you for listening today. If you want part 2 of this story, write it in the comments. Tell me you want more. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do it now. A new story comes every week, and the next one is already waiting for you. This is Listen with Stories. Listen slowly, learn deeply, stay curious.